What's up, everybody? I'm back, and I got another video game review coming back at you today. One that about a year ago I probably would have done a playthrough of, and it would probably been good, but too many flashbacks to Captain Toad to do any more playthroughs of that. But I played through Kirby's Epic Yarn for the Wii, and just finished it, and I gotta say, it is a fun little game. That's what it was. It's just a wholesome, fun little game. It does have a lot of similarities. Think Yoshi's Woolly World, but like with a hint with some with like Super Mario Bros. In there for the Wii that came out around that time as well. And then just replace Yoshi and Mario with Kirby, and then there you go. You got pretty much got the game. There's not much like difficulty to it, as the levels do get progressively harder as the game goes on. There are 8 worlds that you have to go through, and I was doing like 2 at a time. Do 2 worlds, 2 worlds, 2 worlds, because relatively like the worlds have like I'd say 4 and 6 levels per thing, and then you have a bunch of bonus content as well that you can unlock. And I unlocked some of it in one of the worlds. Don't know how you do it. The levels themselves, basically the story is Kirby, the land is taken over by this guy named Yin Yang, and he's a yarn guy, and he's turning everybody into yarn. And Kirby gets put into like this yarn world, and he meets this guy called Patch Guy, and he's Patchland and King of Patchland, and so then they have to work to get Patchland back together, and then they can go back to Dreamland, and if Kirby fights, then the help with Meta Knight. King Dedede's there, but like not really there, doesn't really do much. And then they defeat Yin Yang, and then it's all saved, yay! And Yarn, I think, was a kind of a weird one to do when it came to like changing the world to something, because like Yarn is not something that you would think is like a mean thing. Like, it'd be kind of inconvenient, but it wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't be horrible. Like, it's like just like nice, soft, yummy yarn and some yummy friends and some fun times, yay! Like, it wouldn't be that bad, right? Alas, that's what they chose. I mean, it does work for the game. You got a lot of cool things you can do as Yarn. Kirby can transform into different objects, like a car, a parachute. He can transform into, and then specialized stuff like a tank, fucking tank. That thing is massive. Like a sled to be a penguin. He can be a boat. He can be fucking what was it? Spaceship. Spaceship can be a spaceship. It can be a ton of other stuff, and I think that's really, really cool. Some of the stuff is just really, it's just a lot of fun to play these levels. There's some that get a little janky towards the end, and that got me a little bit, that kind of thing. Especially the second to last boss battle when you fight fighting Meta Knight. You fight King Dedede and you fight Meta Knight because they get possessed by the Yarn guy, and you gotta go and fight them. And the King Dedede is not difficult at all. Those are really none of the bosses. The bosses are pretty easy to figure out if you can figure out the premise of the game, which is not hard at all. You pretty much just go in and you use a side scroller. You can jump around. The levels are relatively short, but they have a lot of content to find throughout the level, which can make them longer. So you're looking to speed run the game. This is a pretty easy game to speed run. If you're looking to 100% the game, there's a lot of stuff to do to 100% the game. They've even got like a thing where you can build your own apartment with cool furniture items that you find throughout the levels of the game. So that's really cool. And they got a bunch of other fun stuff to do there. However, placing the items, I wasn't quite able to figure out. So, thankfully, it was not a requirement to do that. So, maybe because I didn't have a lot of the items. That might have been why. But you don't have to do that. So, you don't have to worry about that. But, and then, of course, it's also multiplayer optional, which I don't believe Captain Toad was. No, it was not. Or as are many of the other games. Lego games obviously are multiplayer, but you could play as Patch as well. I only play as Kirby. You can only play as Patch if you do multiplayer mode, which I guess it would be cool to see if like Patch has any other specialized moves or abilities that Kirby doesn't. I highly doubt though, since from what I could tell, they're both the same. I think they're both the same. I never played as Patch. I'd have liked to, at least for one level, to get a feel for him and see if he's different. But I wasn't able to do that, so I can't speak for that. But if anybody's done the multiplayer and played as Patch, let me know. I'd like to know. But as far as like the controls were really good. Some of them, it got a little janky with the ground pound. The ground pound was a little bit too like pound happy. Because all you had to do was really jump up in the air and press down. Because let me pull the remote as easy. You gotta hold it like this, right? And you press like that to ground pound, right? And all you have to do is like jump. You could be middle air, and you're just like tapping it. All you do is tap it, and then boom, Kirby falls right through the floor. And here's a cool thing about the game that I think other games should adapt. All right, and here's some things that other games should adapt. There's no lives. You don't die and then have to restart the level. Instead, what happens when you like fall down like a hill or like into the void, or you get hit by an enemy, because there's a lot of different enemies in the game. You lose gems, and you collect gems throughout the thing, and gems help give you a higher star rating, like a bronze, silver, or gold. You can get nothing on the levels as well, depending on how many gems you collect and stuff like that. So you can work on about that and everything, which was good. But at that point, but you don't die. Like, the worst would happen is fucking you jump up and this guy fucking hits you, right? And then you fall down, and as you're getting pulled back up, you're losing gems, and you lose all your stars and gems, and you continue to lose them. It goes all the way back to the start of the section. That was so bad. I hated that. It was insane. That was a little annoying, because you get like the gold rating, or you're like 100% trying 100% the level, and you can fuck it up and like that, and you're done, and you gotta restart the whole fucking thing because you lose all your gems. It's really fucking annoying. But again, there's a lot of enemies in the game. Many of them really aren't that hard to defeat. I mean, all of them pretty much can be defeated if you do the whip thing that turns them into yarn balls or just kills them immediately. Some of them have that, like the bees. The bees, I think you could turn into yarn balls. There was like these little chompy bear monster things that float in the air. You couldn't use the thing on them. And obviously you can use them on some of the bigger enemies. Like there was a bear that ran straight just through everything. There was a dinosaur. There was a turtle. And there's like, of course, all the bosses as well. You couldn't use the thing on that. It was a little annoying. There's things that you look like could, but ended up couldn't. And so that was a little annoying. But it wasn't a huge deal. All things considered, so that was all right. But what else? Well, again, overall, it's just a fun game. I think not having lives and not having to worry about that. And I think it came out in 2010, right around when Super Mario Bros. For the Wii came out, and all that kind of stuff. And the controls I thought were really good, because I didn't have to use the sensor at all. Like there's only one time where it had motion controls. I mean, you didn't even need the sensor on. Some of them you could like tilt, like the tank, you could tilt to aim at stuff. And some other things you could one thing you had to like point at, but I don't know, you really didn't need the sensor on. So if you have like this, where it takes batteries and you aren't trying to save the batteries because the battery life on these things are horrible, that's a good way to do that. So you can save your battery and still be able to play the game. The narration, though, this is basically all told through, like, it's like a story, as well as you're playing through the game, and you can patch everything together. And there's the guy narrating this thing is so funny, because he does some of the fucking funniest sound effects, and he does them all himself. He does them all himself with no help whatsoever. It's so hilarious. He'd be like, I can't think of fucking one. I mean, he's like so annoying. He's like this like 66-year-old dude or whatever, and he's just trying to like talk like he's 20, and it's so funny. He tries his best, and I give him credit. I don't know who that guy is, but he gives him credit. He did a good. He tried. You know, effort's what matters. Okay, that was good. And the narration's funny, so stay on the lookout for that. And then, but other than that, there is absolutely no dialogue at all in this game, which I think is normal. Kirby is, does some like what yeah, and Patch guy does this kind of thing. There's like roars and the sounds and stuff like that, but no other actual words are spoken, other than from the narrator. So be prepared for that as well. But otherwise, I thought it was a very, for what it is, it's a good game. Very fun game to play through, a quick game to play through, with a lot of extra bonus content if you're looking for that, which is good. I definitely give this game about an 8 out of 10. I think it was good. Definitely gets a little challenging at the end, so stay on the lookout for that. But compared to other games, Captain Toad, not hard at all. No, it's easy to go through that. So that's going to do it for this game review of Kirby's Epic Yarn. Stay tuned for much more amazing content. I will be playing some more games hopefully soon. So stay on the lookout for that. So, and more game reviews. What did you think of this game? Have you played through? Have you played through the Super Epic Yarn? I think probably came to the Wii U. Probably, I don't know. It's probably not getting a port to the Switch, but I haven't played the Wii U version. But what do you think of this game? Do you like it? Have you played? Do you think it's good? Part of the Kirby franchise, sort of thing. It's pretty cool. It's my first true Kirby game that I've ever played, so that's a good way. I like Kirby and Smash, but this game I never tried. So, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for much more amazing content. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Goodbye.